Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my fiancée introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about season 2, episode 16, Ask Him For Me. So if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. If you're a new listener, then we're happy to have you on this week's episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, then make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And share it with all of your friends wherever you share things, whether that's on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, or anywhere else. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
Okay, let me just say that chapter 74, aka the first half of this episode, before she goes to sneak off to find Kureno, this is my favorite chapter of the whole entire series. I know a lot of people
I feel like I can see why.
Yeah, a lot of people like the later chapters, but for whatever reason, this one, just because I cry every time I see it, either reading it in the manga or now watching it in the anime, I cry like a little baby. And I love Momiji, and I love Momo. She is so cute. And just this whole entire story about wishes and how it gets wrapped up and packaged so beautifully in this absolute godsend of a chapter. I love it. It's amazing. So I'm kind of on cloud 9 right now, but Momiji is not.
You were thoroughly enjoying it both times we watched it.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought that this opening scene was so sad, especially based on the information that we learned later in the episode, because he has to quit violin because his little sister Momo wanted to play violin because she wanted to play violin with him.
Yeah, it's such an intense entanglement of wishes and desires where his dream is to play violin for his family in a concert where 2/3 of the family don't even know that they're related to him. So he wants to perform for them, and that's why he's taking violin lessons. It's very important to him. But then Momo, at the same time, wanting to be with Momiji, takes the same violin lessons. And this weird entanglement just means that Momiji, once again and forever, will keep getting punished for things that are entirely out of his control.
His dad is really just the worst, prioritizing himself and his own happiness and the happiness of everyone else but Momiji in the family over Momiji, just because he happened to be part of the Zodiac. And I know that's so typical of Zodiac parents, but it doesn't make it any less just gross.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those weird psychology, what would you do kind of moral questions, where it's would you let down your son in order to raise up your wife and your daughter? Or would you let your wife go through extreme emotional distress over having a cursed child just so that
Sophie's
your child...
choice.
It sucks. It's the worst moral situation. But, yeah. I wish he could have done more. But, what do you even do in this situation? I hate to say he sucks, but... He
sucks. But it is, to be fair, you're right. It is it's very much a Sophie's choice kind of situation. Mm-hmm. Who do you save? Well, he made his choice, and Momiji's suffering for that.
Yeah.
So, but then we kind of cut away to the opening.
Yes. You caught something very interesting, which I want you to mention, please.
Yes. So, there are two things that I want to talk about in regards to the opening. The first thing, which is not what you're talking about, but is my favorite thing. So I love how perfectly the music matches up with this opening, because right after we see the fist bump, hat on head, and then Tohru claps, that clap just matches with the music so perfectly. It's so satisfying. It makes me happy every time. But what you're talking about is I noticed that throughout the entire time we've been watching it, these past couple episodes, I always am like, ugh, Akito, so menacing, so sultry, like whatever. But this time I noticed a really sad glint in Akito's eyes, which I think I've mentioned before that I think Akito is low-key sad. But this kind of confirms that idea for me.
Okay.
And I feel like even though Akito's God in this situation, I don't think Akito is any less cursed than the rest of them. Akito is not like this omnipotent controller of the curse or whatever. I think Akito just happens to have the most powerful role, and that role put him at the head of the family. I mean, Akito is still essentially just a young adult like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Akito's grown up from child to where he's at now. And being this quote-unquote God figure must have had a lot of pressure, a lot of power, and I can't imagine that his parentage was any better than any of the rest of them, you know? And so I feel like Akito's the way he is because he's just very tortured about what's happening with him. I almost feel like that's the source of a lot of his illness, is the curse, and why he's so miserable all the time. And I don't know. I don't think he has really any real support, which is why he forces the Zodiac to bend to his will. And so he always has someone, because no one wants to be around him because he's, God and head of the family and whatever. And so there's almost that barrier around him. So he forces someone to be around him at all times, at his beck and call. And he tends to mentally abuse them because maybe that's all he's grown up to know, you know?
Woof. That is... Whoa. You unloaded. Hello. No,
Was that good?
See that. I could see that. That does kind of make sense because if you equate it to like how Yuki is a rat and like Kyo is a cat, just because they turn into a rat and a cat upon being hugged or like being really tired and fatigued, that doesn't mean that they think of themselves as those animals. They think of themselves as humans, And so,
they just happen to turn into the animals.
Yeah, and so if Akito is in the same type of role, where Akito is God, then just because Akito has this secondary God type of title, doesn't mean that Akito isn't a human, isn't a person with feelings.
Wait a minute. Wait, so, oh my god, brain blast.
Oh god, okay.
So, when the Zodiac members, okay, they get hugged. They turn into the animals, right?
Yes.
Akito only surrounds himself with male Zodiac members,
Yes.
And he, crawls all over them, right?
That is true. He's really touchy with Hattori.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what happens if a female hugs Akito?
I don't know. We haven't seen it.
So, what if, we think Kyo's this abomination. What if Akito's even more of an abomination than Kyo? Not saying anything against Kyo. We love him. Best boy. Except Yuki. Debatable. Different situations. But what if that's a thing? And Akito has, this self-loathing surrounding that, too. Even though he's, whatever, God or whatever.
I don't know.
I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing. That's my theory.
I like your puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty puzzle pieces.
They are puzzle pieces indeed.
But, okay. That's it for the opening. I think your theories are cool. And I could see how some of them could work. I'm not saying that they aren't working, that they don't happen, or that they do happen. I'm just saying how I could see how they could work.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
No spoilers.
I hope
here.
I'm right. I hope it's crazier than what Anyways, okay.
So then,
moving forward.
So then we get Tohru after the opening, and she's at the estate.
Okay.
And our girl gets a little flashback to when she's remembering Uotani talking about how she quit all of her jobs, she got new ones, because she couldn't stand looking at the door and thinking that Kureno was going to walk in. And I relate to that because, John, you graduated college a year before I did, because you're a year older than me. And when I was at work, John, before he graduated, would visit me all the time and give me, water or, ginger ale or some type of little snack. just to, like, help my day move along and make me happy. And then after he graduated, I kept looking at the door thinking he's gonna walk in, and he didn't, until one day he did. And then he showed up with a little snack, and then that ruined me for the rest of the year, because I kept thinking, well, he showed up randomly that one day, maybe he'll show up again. So
I'm sorry.
I very much relate to Uotani, just staring at the door, and then seeing just like a rando walk in, and she's disappointed. I feel that to such an extreme extent. But, yeah, I get it.
I think it's so, A, that was cute. B, I think it's so sad how she just doesn't want to get her hopes up about this at all. Even when Tohru says, once Hanajima says, if only we knew his name, she says it's Kureno, and Tohru is like, oh, wait, like Kureno Soma? And they have that little moment, even though Tohru described him pretty well to her, minus they see his different kind of sides of his personality, his Akito personality and his casual one. She still is like, I don't want to get my hopes up. They're probably not even the same dude. Just keeping her expectations as low as possible, so she doesn't even have to deal with it anymore, which is so sad.
I know. Poor Uotani, she's hurting.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's a big age gap, so like...
Yeah, that's a thing.
But I don't know. It could work. I don't know. Okay.
So, moving along.
Yes.
Away from that terrible topic. So we get Tohru. And she's talking to Kyo, asking about Kureno. And I love this scene because they're both outsiders in a way, where Kyo, like, sure, he's a part of the cursed people, but he's not, like, in the zodiac, you know? He's just cursed as the cat. And then Tohru, we've heard time and time again that she views herself as a rice ball in a fruits basket. And, I mean, she's kind of like that still, where she's a normal person in the zodiac. So, you know, she doesn't really fit in here. And both of them being outsiders, they have that kind of connection, and they also just have a relationship outside of that. So she feels comfortable enough to ask him questions about things that are on the inside, because he gets a little bit more of a sneak peek to it. But, you know, Kyo being Kyo, trying to make sure that Tohru doesn't trip, fall, hurt herself, or ruin her life.
Yes.
He's like, please so don't talk to Kureno. Please don't, just stay. Stop it. Like, Akito is like, don't meddle because you're gonna ruin a good thing, and Kyo's like, don't meddle because you're gonna hurt yourself.
And I love how in both situations, from vastly different people, she's like, I'll do my best to meddle.
Yep.
Like, she didn't say it this time, but that's essentially what her actions are.
Yeah, she's like, don't see Kureno, so you mean do see Kureno. Okay, that's what I heard.
Like, she is meddling in everyone's lives.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that, because we know it's very well-intentioned, and she refers to it as selfish, but I wonder if that's gonna bite her in the butt, you know? Like, someone's gonna get mad at her for meddling at some point.
I mean, Akito quite literally told her not to meddle.
Okay, Akito is, like, a different situation. I mean someone who actually liked her from the get-go.
I don't know.
You know? I could see someone... We've never seen her make anyone, sans Akito and her awful family, mad. I wonder if she has the capacity to make someone irritated with her. I guess Rin was, but she doesn't count either. She doesn't know her.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see an example of a time that Tohru made someone upset.
Yeah. I feel like that's very much alluding to something. But she's zoned out, and she is on a mission, and she trucks over Momo.
Poor Momo.
Poor fragile little Momo, because she goes over so easy. Because Tohru's not a big person, but she ruins Momo.
Momo's so cute. And she's like, I love how Momo's just like Tohru, where she's such a little troublemaker. Like, oh, you know Momiji? Cool, that's my purpose here. Let's go in this hole. Let me show you where he is. I come here all the time. I'm not allowed in, but I do it anyway. Like, It's so cute. She's such a little troublemaker.
Which, like, are the Somas trying to, like, cut costs on groundskeeping or something? That is a gaping hole. Like, it's not just one where you have to, like, scoot through on, like, your stomach. You know? That is a humongous hole in that wall that's meant to keep people out.
Yeah, well, it's kind of covered by some foliage. So
well, yeah,
the
but,
people
like,
who sneak in have hidden it a little bit.
fair, but still, that is a ginormous hole. But then she shows her to Momiji's house, and this whole situation is just ruin me now.
It makes me cry every single time. When Momo says, please ask Momiji if he can be my big brother.
Yes, oh my goodness. And she points out how he looks like her mom, which, I mean, it's not that hard to tell how many Eastern European people are in that location in Japan.
Yeah.
I know he's half Japanese, whatever, but he looks very Eastern European. And so, I don't know, it hurts my soul, because all he wants is to have a relationship with his mother and Momo, and all Momo wants is for him, who looks like her mother. She doesn't know that they're actually biologically related, and in a way, she is his namesake.
Mm-hmm.
Although, honestly, if they didn't want to know that they were related, they might have wanted to be a little bit more clever with the naming scheme of Momo. Anyways, I don't know, that just, all she wants is for him to be related, like you said, or not related, but like her big brother, and that's so tragic.
I know, and Tohru learning all of this, it breaks her heart, and her having, like, her eyes covered when she goes up to Momiji's door, like, she cannot handle the amount of information that has just been thrusted upon her, and it hurts her so profoundly, because she's dealing with Uotani's love, that, you know, she's wishing that she can go see Kureno, and now there's Momo who wants to see Momiji, and Momiji who wants to see Momo, but none of these people can get what they want, and Uotani doesn't even know that there's a curse. She doesn't even know that Kureno's cursed. Like, there's so much happening, and Tohru has all of this information, and she can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But just bottle it up.
And I have to wonder if this is all having an effect on her, because we see her flashback to her mom here, and I think she might be having a lot of trouble because she doesn't have anyone in this world who she, at least consciously, loves like that, you know? What if she doesn't know how to love like they are all kind of experiencing it? Like, she doesn't know if she can feel that anymore since her mom died. Or she's too scared to, or something.
I don't know.
Like, and that's why everything seems to be hitting her this hard, you know?
Yeah. Good theories. I like them.
Okay.
But, I don't know. I'm not confirming anything.
But then we actually get to see her talking to Momiji, and you had a lot of feelings about this.
I do. This has my favorite panel of the whole entire manga. When Momiji clasps his hands in front of his face, and in the anime he says, "Oh no, I'm so happy." In the manga, it gets me every single time. He says, "Papa said that Momo was curious about me. I see. She's been watching me. What should I do? What should I do? I'm so happy." And just him just being so giddy, like, what should I do? What should I do? Like, I don't know what to do with this information. I can't do anything, but Momo cares about me. Momo likes me. And I can't do it. 'Cause that's
just that
all
pure
he
happiness.
wants. Yes, that's all he wants, is for someone in his family other than his dad, who I don't think he villainizes his dad, but, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. He wants his mom. He wants his sister. He has a little sister. And his little sister wants him to be her big brother. And just him getting so giddy over that just breaks my heart every single time. And I cry endlessly. But Yeah, and then we also finally learn Momiji's dream about wanting to be a violinist, which you predicted, not to this full extent, but like you predicted.
I so called that from our podcast in episode 2. You can check the tapes back. I said he wanted to be a musician. Well, I was between, to be fair, I was between musician and I said, okay, that's probably a long shot. It's probably going to be more like a social worker. I should have just stuck to my guns and said musician.
Oh, yeah, I had on the dorkiest grin when you said that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you went back on your word. But, whatever. We forgot about that part.
Yeah,
but you didn't know
it never happened. Don't listen to that one.
You didn't know to what extent. And when you get that extra bit about wanting to perform a special concert for his family, oh my gosh, just dagger to the heart.
He's such a pure, kind soul who just wants family and just happiness. His look, just really embodies who he is as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Just very colorful, very upbeat, very vibrant. But I feel like his clothing, a lot of times his shirts in particular, are kind of more old school. So even though it looks just very vibrant, colorful, and quirky, it's almost a little bit more mature. And I feel like the violin is a very mature instrument, a very mature sound. And so I feel like that brings every piece of his character so profoundly together. And I don't know.
Oh, I love it. And I love his relationship with Tohru specifically, because you really get to see it shine here, where she's just crying and crying over him in this whole situation. It's breaking her heart. And he starts to talk to her about Kureno. He's remembering Tohru getting hurt over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, when she is crying, he almost quotes Hattori without even knowing that he's quoting Hattori, where he says, you're crying over me. How blessed am I to have someone who cries over me? And Hattori said the same thing to Mayu, where he's like, you cried for me. Yeah. So just this idea of these wonderful women crying over these Soma men because of the terrible situations they're in. Oh my goodness. Over and over. But I really appreciate their relationship and that he hates being so powerless. But
they're literally, I see them as best friends. Those kinds of best friends that are almost like siblings,
Mm-hmm.
They're that close. So I don't know. I love it.
I ship it.
You ship it?
I ship not as much as Kyo and Tohru, mind you. But if we had some weird alternate universe in which Tohru and Momiji could work together, I'd be happy with. No. We argue about this every time I bring up my ship. Stop letting down my ships. There are plenty of fan fictions about it. Leave it alone.
I'm sorry. I mean, maybe that is the case, but I'm just saying they're siblings.
No shit-shaming. Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
But, okay. Next on, we hit what is now, we're in chapter 75, where Kureno is brought up and Toru's gonna go look for him. And that sneak. Ooh, the sneaking.
Okay, so we get to the stealth section of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, if this was The Legend of Zelda when Link's sneaking through Hyrule Castle, she would have been caught in 4 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
When he gave her that little map, the exact words that I said to you was oh no, she's not competent enough for this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then she she would see people everywhere. And oh my gosh, when the mean old lady who's an attendant of Akito walked by, I was like, oh god, please no. Anyone but her.
Yeah.
And luckily, she didn't see her. But she was hiding behind a bush when first she found Kureno, and then she got scared by everyone. And I like the little bit of foreshadowing that Kureno's gonna be behind the curtain, because they had that little sparrow right in front that flew away.
Yeah, 2 things I have to call out here. First of all, one of the groups of people that she hid from, I never picked up that this was them in the manga at all. But now that it's colorized and animated, that she hid from Hiro's parents.
Oh,
like, I
they
didn't
would have
know that was
invited
them.
her to, like, tea or something.
Yeah, they would have been like, "Hi, honey, how are you? Do you like sheep?" You know, like, they would have loved her. "I'm pregnant," you know? But I love that they're so happy and in love and just walking around the estate and she's pregnant and they're so cute. I love them. I didn't know that was them, but now that I can see her hair color and recognize her better, I know that's Hiro's mom. And his dad, which I never knew that we would see his dad illustrated. I didn't think that happened, but okay.
He seems like a friendly man.
He does. But, okay. So, that was one thing. The other thing is we see that sparrow, which, yes, that was a little foreshadow that Kureno was going to be behind the curtain. But let me tell you a little bit about sparrows with Symbolism Time with Allie. And the little bit I have to say is there's not a lot. So, the only thing I could find on sparrows is, A, that we are looking at a Eurasian tree sparrow. And
ooh,
spicy.
Spicy Eurasian tree sparrow.
And B, that I couldn't find, like, exact symbolism. Like, sparrows mean this. Like, there were a bunch of little odds and ends, nothing that really told me this is what sparrows mean, this is the symbolism, here you go, on a silver platter kind of thing. But I did find a folktale. And I don't know how much it has to do with Kureno. I don't know if it foreshadows anything. I am leaving this very open-ended, just in case there are spoilers abound. But it is called The Tongue-Cut Sparrow. You can look it up and read it yourself. It is online. And basically the plot is all about, like, this old man who takes in an injured sparrow, but his wife is super greedy, and she doesn't want to take care of the sparrow and give it their rice and their starches and things. And so then eventually the sparrow gets better, gives them gifts. The man gets a small basket, he's gifted with treasure. The woman gets a large basket, she is greeted with monsters, she falls down a hill, and she is presumed to be dead. So, the moral of the story is that the purity of friendship overcomes the evil of greed and jealousy, and greed only leads to one's own demise. So, that is the moral of the sparrow story. So, that is what Japanese folk tales have to say about sparrows. That's all I could really find. So, do with that what you will. That is your Symbolism Time with Allie.
I, personally, maybe that'll come of something that I just don't know about Kureno's character. I don't know.
Riff off of it another day, but theorize in the comments if you want.
In like 5 episodes, I'll be like, oh!
The tree sparrow, the tongue-cut sparrow story, of course it meant this!
Of course, how could I have missed it?
But yeah, that's your sparrow story, and we cut back to Tohru, and she's hiding behind that bush, and someone hears her.
Yes. So, someone comes out, and, okay, if this is, I would wager my left foot that this is Ren.
You're willing to lose your foot?
I'm willing to lose my foot over this.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm not,
I'll
really,
go get
I'm
the
not
knives.
making that promise. I'm not making that promise. But I do think it's Ren. Because, okay, so a couple episodes back, I theorized that Ren was related to Akito somehow, right?
Yes.
I feel like this, since we are very much in the inner sanctum, right? Mm-hmm. This is someone important. Because if it wasn't someone important, they would have shown their face. And so, this has to be Ren. That's the only character that they've alluded to that we don't know yet. And this confirms, for me at least, that they're related to Akito. Because A, they're dressed very similarly to Akito. And B, their mannerisms are so... I don't even know how to describe it. Just like how their hands moved towards Kureno's like face and the way their fingers moved, it gave me such an Akito vibe that I thought it was Akito for a second. But I was like, why would they hide Akito? So I think they're related to Akito. I said in a previous thing that I thought that it would be Akito's sister. And maybe it is, but they seem much older than Akito. So I'm thinking either mother or grandmother or aunt.
Okay.
But I'm kind of leaning towards mother. because her hands didn't look super pruny.
True, that old maid has super weird hands, like old lady
exactly.
hands. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Ren is Akito's mom, and I feel like that's all I've got. Because I was gonna say there was a reason that Kureno was hiding Tohru from her, but there's a lot of reasons to be hiding Tohru from everyone. So, so that doesn't really hold any water. But I do think that Ren is Akito's mom based on this information.
Okay, sure. If that's what you think. Okay. But yeah, we may figure out one day who that woman was. We may not. Who knows?
Yo, Secrets. We have to. They didn't show her face. Secrets. She's important.
Okay. So they talk. Tohru's like, oh my gosh, do you know Risa Uotani? You've gotta. And she figures out that this is the same Kureno that knows Uotani. And Kureno says that he isn't interested in meeting up with Uotani, and it's not because of his zodiac spirit. So what's the reason?
If it's not because of his zodiac spirit, it's because... So I think that that's kind of like not a red herring. I don't know what the phrase is. But that's a diversion, because, well, technically it's not because, oh, if I get hugged, I'll turn into a little birdie bird. I think that it is because if they got too close, because he's Akito's right-hand dude, as of right now, you know? If they got too close and Akito found out, I think Uotani would be deader than... maybe Uotani could take Akito, honestly. But Akito would not be pleased. And that would just make everyone's life just a lot worse.
Okay.
And so I feel like it's almost a protective thing for Uotani. Because we see towards the end of the episode that he gets the note from Tohru that she hides in the dirt.
Yeah.
Just in case. But he grabs it. So obviously he's interested. And he's genuinely wants to have a relationship. But I feel like it's been so ingrained in him that his wants don't matter. And that he has to submit to Akito. That he's a caged bird. Like, he's literally a caged bird right now. And so I wonder what'll happen when he does finally break free of the cage. Because I feel like they wouldn't set this up if there wasn't going to be payoff, you know? If he just stayed caged for the rest of the series, that would just be sad. I think tragic things might happen from him breaking free of the cage, but at least we'll have good moments, maybe. Hopefully. But yeah.
Did you think it was like a little sus? Like anything about that scene? Was it like a little weird to you? Was Kureno being strange? Do you know why Kureno, I think, was being weird? It's okay if you don't. Don't worry about it. I just think he was being weird.
I just thought he was weird.
He is kind of weird.
Honestly, I just thought he didn't know how to talk to people. Because he doesn't have social interaction. So if there was something extra sus about it, then it completely over my head.
No, I mean, like, you're right. He doesn't really talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But then Tohru is so adorable when she puts out her hands for him to handcuff them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, sorry, I don't have any handcuffs. And he smiles. Thank you, Kureno, for smiling.
Oh, she is having a positive impact on every Soma boy and every Soma girl. Well, maybe not the girls as much. Well, Kisa. But, yeah.
But then Momiji comes to get his girl. He grabs Tohru, and the look on his face makes me so happy.
He is grumpy.
Yeah, he just snatches her. He's like, my Tohru, leave her alone, Kureno.
He's like, all right, you've had your fun. Let's go.
I'm not supposed to be looking at you. Don't tell Akito. But then they go back, and Tohru is just constantly saying to herself throughout this episode, my heart is breaking.
Yeah.
She's also not handling this well.
Real quick, backpedal for half a second. You mentioned in your symbolism video that Kureno and Momiji had their names switched, and maybe he was grumpy because he was like, Kureno, you have my name. Ugh.
Yeah, he broke the fourth wall, and he
Yeah.
knew.
He knew.
He knew.
But yeah.
Yeah, and so then Tohru keeps mentioning that her heart is breaking, and then she's talking to Momiji, and I do have to point out one difference, which makes a lot of sense for copyright reasons, but when Momiji asks Tohru what song that she would like him to practice, in the manga she says, when you wish upon a star, because the whole thing is about wishes, but they had to create a new song so that they didn't play When You Wish Upon a Star and get hard slapped with copyright claims.
Isn't that a Disney song?
I think, or at least they bought it.
They use it a lot.
They use it all the time. I mean, everyone associates that song with Disney.
Big Papa Disney would not be happy about that.
No. They would have been just fine, like, getting the copyright, like, all the legal things sorted away so that you can just write the title in a book or a manga. Fine. But actually playing the song? No.
Yeah.
No. So they changed it to Birth of Wishes, which still made me cry, so it's okay.
It's very pretty.
Very pretty. And then we get to the part that made you tear up.
Oh my god, yes. That rooftop scene?
Yeah.
Fruits Basket, why you gotta do me dirty like that? Because I was like, I'm strong. Like, you know? No tears this round. But no, they hit me with a stinger at the end. Because when Kyo comes up and is like, you're not usually on the roof, or something to that effect. Because she's so emotional about everything she's had to deal with up to this point. And then when he says, this boy ruined me, he asks if she has a crush on someone, and she Tohru's it up and is like, no. And then he says, well, if you do find someone you care about, I'll help you, or something like that. And I was just like, oh god. And then I started crying, and then she started crying, and then we were all crying.
Yep.
And because he's pretending like he's not going to be locked away here in a year, which he has accepted at this point, and he doesn't know that she knows that. And so I think that these tears are like multifaceted, you know?
Okay.
Because I feel like she starts crying because she realizes that, she might think that he's in denial about being locked away, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that probably makes her sad. So she's carrying that burden with her, plus all of the burdens of everyone's wishes that can't be fulfilled today, because nothing really got resolved in her trip. She just got more stacked on to her, because she found Kureno, and she doesn't know he grabbed the note. She just delivered the message, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's weighing on her. And then the Momiji Momo stuff is just weighing on her. And all the while, my theory from earlier in this episode, that I think that all of this combined just led to unconscious tears flowing, because she realizes that maybe she can't even comprehend the idea of loving someone or something right now, because all she cares about is seeing her mom, which she never can again. And I think that that just made her emotionally just like pop in that moment, because she doesn't know how to love someone at this moment. And so she puts up this act of, I need to help everyone because I need to show my love for them, but it's not like love, it's more like friendship, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's completely off, but that's kind of how I perceive it, because I always feel like this show does have kind of that core theme, even though it's not necessarily at the forefront of everything. I feel like it does have that core theme of love and, well, bonds definitely is a big thing, because like the bond is the curse. We heard that in the beach arc. And so maybe she's realizing that she can't form the bonds that she wants, you know, because she's so stuck with the one that she perceives as having lost with her mom.
Okay. Ooh,
maybe that's completely off, but I don't know.
Hey, if it's right, no one's gonna tell you. And if it's wrong, no one's gonna tell you.
Tell me.
So, you'll find
True.
out.
True.
But, okay. That wraps up the episode in which I cried both times I watched it and every time I've ever read it. Thanks for ruining my tear ducts. But next episode, you have a lot to go off of for this preview, you know?
Okay.
It's
give
Tohru saying, "You will, I'm sure." You know, just theorize off of that. Go hard. I'm sure you can come up with a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she's talking to Momiji, and he's sad that he won't get taller.
He should be taller by now.
He's like, oh, why am I not taller? I wish I could get taller. And she's like, you will, I'm sure.
You were taller in the manga. I'm sure you'll grow one day.
Yeah. And then she gives him a head pat and a popsicle, and she's on her way. And that's the whole episode.
That is, wow. Usually I don't let you know when you're right. But that's our next episode. So get hype. I think you're gonna like it.
So hype.
I think you're really gonna like it.
Wait, does that mean...
Oh?
Does that mean our king is in it?
I don't know. That could mean a couple different things.
I think that mean... Does that mean our king is in this episode?
Anything.
Kakari Manabe!
Oh my god. Okay. Wrap us up. Take us home.
Okay. Well, that'll do it for today's podcast, guys. And so, if you liked this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from the show, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And while you're at it, why not sharing this video with all your friends, wherever you like to share things, whether that's Twitter, Discord, WhatsApp, or whatever else you might use. And as always, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.
See ya.